Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fur 1-1.
In today's video, we're going to be talking about kinesiology tape and how it can support and assist any common injuries groomers might have in the line of duty.
This is Dr. Rachel, and she is our chiropractor, and she is also a certified animal chiropractor.
None of the information given in today's video is intended to diagnose or treat any of your injuries at home. If you are having problems, please have it checked out by your healthcare provider.
They're nice.
So, Dr. Rachel, what are we going to be working on today?
Today, I'm going to show 3 common injuries of the upper extremity in the arm that are really common for groomers to have, and I'm going to show some common stretches and exercises to help manage those problems at home. And then I'm also going to demonstrate how to use kinesio tape. Christy suffers from a condition called lateral epicondylitis, which is a fancy way of saying that the tendons of the muscles that start on the edge of her elbow here are inflamed and kind of irritated and painful for her. So one of my favorite ways of working with that, you can go ahead and just relax your shoulder, is to just start kind of mid-forearm with my thumb, press in somewhat firmly, and just strip up the muscle towards the elbow and up, sorry my thumb disappeared, but up above the elbow. And I'm going to repeat that 4, 5, 6 times with as much pressure as she can tolerate. If you're doing this on yourself, I'll do one more strip here and then I'll show if you're doing this on yourself. What I typically do is I'll take my hand and just kind of grasp and squeeze along that muscle with as much force as you can tolerate. It's really hard to hurt yourself by doing this. It's kind of like trying to tickle yourself. It doesn't typically work all that well. And you can just kind of squeeze. If you find a sore, ouchy spot, you can hold that pressure for just a couple of seconds, a couple of breaths. Try to think about relaxing the tension out from under your fingers and work your way up the elbow. One of my favorite stretches for this particular area, I'm going to straighten her elbow as much as she can tolerate and let me know if any of this is too much. And then I'm going to push down on her wrist, and she's probably pretty intense.
That is an amazing stretch.
Pretty intense stretch. If you want to intensify that stretch even more, I'm going to let off that wrist on her and I'm going to curl her fingers.
Ooh.
And that's going to feel a little bit different in a different muscle group in her forearm.
Definitely.
So you can do a couple passes on that and then you'll flip the wrist over. Same thing. Extend that wrist as much as you can. Nice stretch. You're going to feel that stretch on the other side of the elbow.
Yeah.
And then same thing, I'm going to let off of that wrist extension and extend those fingers, and you're going to feel that in a slightly different but similar area.
For sure.
And you can just hold that for just 5-10 seconds, 3-4 nice deep breaths. Those are my 2 favorite manual and stretches for the wrist and elbow. An exercise involves a stretchy band. It's got to be kind of long. You're going to drop it to the floor and stand on it. I don't know if you can see this. And you're going to hold, and you're basically just going to do banded bicep curls.
Okay.
And that's going to help to work.
How many do you
muscles.
Typically recommend?
10 to 15.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to demonstrate.
You just
that
step
for me.
on the...
Yep, step on the edge of it.
Okay.
Don't anchor it to the floor.
And then basic.
Basic bicep curls.
Okay.
Yep.
So you're tucking the elbow to the side of your body?
I typically will tuck the elbow into the side of my body. It helps support the shoulder as you're working.
Okay.
And also, if you're not tucking the elbow, you can kind of get a little squirrely in the elbow and maybe irritate your shoulder.
Gotcha. Okay,
Yeah.
great.
So if you don't have a stretchy band at home, I typically like to recommend, I usually use a soup can, but I didn't have a soup can today, so we're using a small bottle of doggy shampoo.
Convenient.
I know, right? Same thing, elbow tucked into side and curl. Soup can's typically a little bit heavier. Just find something that feels like it offers a good amount of resistance for you and where you're at strength-wise. Do a couple of curls, and then also for specifically these forearm muscles, rest your elbow on a table. Can you see that okay? Yeah. Rest your forearm on a table, and I'll often kind of place my hand over to prevent moving your elbow, and you just want to curl your wrist up and kind of feel a squeeze. You'll do 10 of those, and then flip your wrist other way, and you're going to extend, and this is surprisingly difficult even with this small weight. So.
Yeah, and it's not so much about the weight, but it's the resistance and
Absolutely.
the... Gotcha,
It's more
gotcha.
about adding some resistance. So before we move on to showing how to tape with some kinesio tape on here, I want to talk about one of my favorite products. It's called Rock Sauce. It's very similar to Icy Hot, Bengay, any other topical pain reliever that you can get at the drugstore. My favorite thing about Rock Sauce specifically is that it smells so good. It smells like candy, right?
It does.
Like, it doesn't smell like that typical kind of mentholy medicinal smell. This stuff smells like candy, and it is very potent as far as the tingly quality that you get on your skin. So before we tape, and this product is specifically designed to work with kinesio tape. A lot of other products, there's too much oil in them, and they actually counteract the adhesive in the tape. And so if you put those on first, your tape's not going to stick as well. This stuff is actually specifically designed to work with the adhesives of the tape. So I'm going to put just a little bit on Christy's arm here before we get going. It goes on white, it doesn't stain your clothing.
It smells so good.
It smells so good.
Smells like a mint.
Yes. Takes just a couple of minutes to soak into the skin. Really kind of get back there behind your elbow. Let's just give that just a minute or two to dry.
All right.
And then once that's dry, we will put some tape on there.
Okay.
So before we move on, some of you may be wondering, what is kinesio tape? So if you've never heard of it, you might have seen it on TV at the Olympics a couple years ago. Michael Phelps was wearing it all over his shoulder. What it is a stretchy cotton fabric athletic tape that is designed to help support the tissues of whatever area it's on while allowing movement in a normal load capacity. So unlike athletic tape is designed to immobilize and fully support a joint. Kinesio tape is designed to lend a gentle amount of support while still allowing those joints and body parts to move in more natural fashion. So the best way to apply kinesio tape is, as I said, it's a stretchy cotton fabric tape. So I'll typically start by tearing the paper on the back of the tape about an inch, inch and a half, maybe 2 inches from the end of the tape. Peel back that end, and on Christy's elbow here, I'm gonna apply it up the back of her arm just a little bit. I'm gonna hold on to that tape, tug on the tape just a little bit to loosen that paper from the back, because we wanna really try not to touch it. And by it, I mean the adhesive, before we apply it, because we don't want to deactivate that adhesive. I'm going to hold on to that end of the tape just so I don't pull it off. And meanwhile, I'm going to stretch that tape about 50% along the edge of her arm, leaving about an inch of paper still on the other end of the tape. I'm going to lay that down and just give it a gentle rub to help activate that adhesive. Let go of the tape, peel off the rest of the paper, and then stick that edge down, give it a little rub in the direction of the tape, the direction the tape is running. As I said, that heat will help activate that adhesive. The next one I'm gonna do, this one may be just a little bit long, is I'm gonna tear the tape right up the middle, give it a little stretch to pull the paper off, fold those ends back, and right along the edge of where she's having the majority of her pain, I'm going to stretch that tape quite a lot, place it down, let off the ends, pull the rest of that paper off, and give it a little rub. And hopefully you're feeling quite a bit of pressure and support through there. So that is taping for lateral epicondylitis. We can do a very similar thing on the other side of the elbow if you're having pain on the inside of your elbow.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.